Nevadans are battle-born, but lately we've been tested like never before. So when COVID came to Nevada, Senator Cortez Masto went to work. She got loans for small businesses that saved 500,000 Nevada jobs and worked with President Biden to provide stimulus checks and tax cuts. Senator Cortez Masto got new funding to keep Nevada's first responders on the job, too. Call Senator Cortez Masto at 202-224-3542 and tell her to keep delivering relief for Nevada. Paid for by Majority Forward.
For the ones standing guard, for the eagle-eyed, for the knights in shining armor, and for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, clickgrainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
A very important hearing today. I wouldn't hold your breath given the court system. However, this is the Florida State Court. The judge, who is politicized, is a Republican, but I don't think that's going to make much of a difference. But let you know what's happening. I filed a lawsuit against Joe Biden, against the Biden campaign and his campaign manager, Kate Bettenfield, about 2 years ago. Because when I announced on Radio America's podcast and weekly radio show that I would be seeking an indictment of Joe Biden for what's widely known as bribery from communist China, Ukraine, and Russia, Google YouTube pulled down all of my YouTubes for almost 10 years. I then wrote to the lawyer of Google YouTube at Williams and Connolly, not coincidentally, the law firm that represents the Clintons and many other leftist Democrats. And I said, either you have your client put our YouTube channel back up. This is Freedom Watch's YouTube channel, or I'm going to sue you and I'll sue Joe Biden in the same lawsuit. Well, obviously, Google YouTube didn't want that because they were sucking up to Biden, thinking he was going to become president, which ultimately he did become the fraudulent president of the United States, given the election irregularities. But even though Google YouTube then put our channel up, I sued Biden because this cannot be permitted. This was the equivalent of cancel culture early on, before it was even known, before it was even a term. And we know that there was a pattern in practice by Joe Biden and his campaign and his campaign manager, Kate Bedingfield, to threaten publications that published anything negative about Biden in the days, months, and years leading up to the presidential election in November 2020. This lawsuit's been ongoing. It's in front of a judge in Palm Beach County. We have the hearing today at 11:30 a.m. Pacific, at 2:30 Eastern. And like I said, we have a very strong case. And I'm seeking the deposition of Joe Biden, but I'm also seeking discovery from the campaign manager and the campaign themselves, campaign manager, Kate Beckenfield. It's time that someone put their foot down. It's time that someone held Biden accountable for anything. Right now, he's off in Europe at the G7, embarrassing himself, embarrassing the United States. He can't get his facts straight. He can't. Boris, whatever his name is, the Prime Minister of England, having a senior moment at this point. Boris Johnson, not Johnson & Johnson, the vaccines, but Boris Johnson had to correct him several times. Biden said, why don't you announce this person who's with us at this conference? And Boris Johnson told him, I already did announce it. It reminds me of the skit by Rich Little recently, where he does an imitation of Biden doing the Miami Beach shuffle, of a very old person, saying that my short-term memory is flawless. My short-term memory is the best. And by the way, my short-term memory is also good. Very funny skit. But this is not funny. The so-called president of the United States, frankly, is brain dead. Putin's going to size him up. Others are going to size him up. They're going to see that he's not up for the job. This is a huge security risk. He is more incapacitated than Franklin Roosevelt was at Yalta when Roosevelt gave away all of Eastern Europe. And the problems that caused for many, many years with the Soviet Union. Problem is an understatement. So this is where we are. And if you layer that to the fact that Netanyahu has been removed from power in Israel, and he wasn't the be-all and end-all, believe me. Netanyahu talked a good game, came from Philadelphia, Cheltenham, where my cousins grew up, but he was mostly all talk and no action. in that regard, I'm not sorry to see him go. He stood down from eliminating Hamas on 3 occasions, pressured by Obama and Biden. He was not the person he was perceived to be. However, the government, which is now in control, is a leftist government by and large, and they just let the Arabs, the Palestinians, into the government, which could potentially be fatal for the state of Israel. This is where we are right now. And why did that happen? In part because of Biden, because he's weak, and because the left, the Jewish left, is empowered under Biden. And they just now moved Netanyahu out, just like the Jewish left played a role in moving Trump out. And I'm Jewish myself, Jewish Christian, so you can't say I'm anti-Semitic, but the Jewish left is very, very destructive of not just the United States and Israel. Then I want to make a statement about something I saw on Fox News yesterday. You know, Steve Hilton, I was on a plane, who has a show called The Revolution. As you know, we have a Third Continental Congress where we're going to declare independence on July 5th and 6th in Philadelphia. I hope you go to freedomwatchusa.org and join that conference, because it's important, and we need to make some additions to our Constitution that will clear up some of the loopholes that currently exist. But Hilton gave a very good monologue. And the problem is, I'm going to get up on our website, is that all it is talk. He says, oh, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. The establishment is doing this, this, and this. But this is the thing that we go through, is that a lot of people talk about it and they say what's wrong, but they don't do anything about it. And that's typical, not just of Steve Hilton, but of Fox News and of many, many others in the alleged conservative movement. And I don't consider these people conservative if they don't get up off the couch and do something. Hilton's certainly a lot more intelligent than Hannity, probably 50 points IQ higher. I give him credit for what he said, but now's the time to act. And when you have people like Ilham Omar out there trashing Jews, trashing Christians, trashing whites, trashing Israel, it's time for us to rise up. It's time for us to take our country back. So I hope that you will go to freedomwatchusa.org and sign up for our Third Continental Congress in Philadelphia at the Visitor Center, July 5th and 6th. It'd be nice to be in Philadelphia during that time to remind us of the heritage of our great founding fathers. You can visit Independence Hall, see where it all began. Philadelphia is unlike Washington, D.C. It's the real deal downtown. It's where it started. It's the birthplace of our nation. It's my birthplace. It's not the Disney World of Washington, D.C. And as I've said, leave the criminals in Washington. Let them commit crimes against each other. We're moving on. The American people need to move on, because our country's been destroyed in just 4 months with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. All we hear from Biden is brain-dead statements. All we hear from Kamala Harris is witch-like cackles, not even knowing that she's vice president, thinking she can behave like a complete clown and get away with it. Well, now's not the time to laugh. Now's the time to rise up. So read my book, It Takes a Revolution. Forget the scandal industry. People that go to the Third Continental Congress will get it for free. I'll do a book signing. We'll sign it. And go to freedomwatchusa.org and let's save the country. God bless you. God bless America. God save America. Remember, the Father and Son will only help those who help themselves, just like they helped the founding fathers when they invoked the divine providence. I'll be back tomorrow with another special podcast. Until then, thank you for listening to me.
Nevadans are battle-born, but lately we've been tested like never before. So when COVID came to Nevada, Senator Cortez Masto went to work. She got loans for small businesses that saved 500,000 Nevada jobs and worked with President Biden to provide stimulus checks and tax cuts. Senator Cortez Masto got new funding to keep Nevada's first responders on the job, too. Call Senator Cortez Masto at 202-224-3542 and tell her to keep delivering relief for Nevada. Paid for by Majority Forward.
This is Peacock. I love it! It's streaming your favorite shows, movies, live sports, breaking news, exclusive originals. It's The Office.
That's what she said.
Chrisley Knows Best.
It's gonna be Todd's Way or the Highway.
And Peacock original shows like Punky Brewster.
Holy macanoli.
So whether you're in the mood for every live WWE pay-per-view or every episode of Law & Order SVU, Peacock's got you covered. Peacock. Watch for free, upgrade for more. Stream now at peacocktv.com.